Hey, I want to talk a little bit about the sudden impact fiber bait and the differences between dip bait and fiber bait. Now, sudden impact comes in three sizes. It comes in a 12 ounce, a 24 ounce, and a big gallon bucket. This is the big gallon bucket that's been riding around the back of my truck, and a lot of you guys that fish with a lot of manufactured bait really like the gallon size of containers. And one of the things about sudden impact is it doesn't have to be refrigerated after you open it. You can just put the lid back on it and put it in your storage bin, put it out in your garage, leave it in your boat, and as long as it stays dry, it's going to be okay. And if you do want it to dry out a little bit, just leave the lid off of it for a day or so, and the air will start to dry it out a little bit if it starts to get wet or it gets rained in sometime. Now, sudden impact is different than dip bait because it's got a lot of fibers, hair-like natural fibers in the bait. It's very similar to Secret 7, but you can see the fibers that are down in that product right there, and what that does is that holds on a bare treble hook. You can use dip tubes like you do with the Secret 7 for sudden impact, but it's really designed for using with bare treble hooks. It's a great product to work with in cold weather because it's soft. It's not very warm out here today. It's a really soft product, but it doesn't get too hot either. If you're fishing in Texas or in the South and Louisiana, all the way across down to Florida where it gets really, really hot during the day, typically cheese-based baits start to fall apart in the heat. Sudden impact fiber bait just gets better and better and better because the long stringy fibers in there hold that on your bare treble hook. So I'm going to got a little treble hook in here. I'm going to show you typically how we bait this up. We got a sudden impact fiber bait treble hook in there, and I'm just kind of smashing the bait around, and then I'm going to pull out a bait like this. Now, this isn't the Mona Lisa, folks. This doesn't have to look all nice and pretty and perfect. There is a lot of catfish bait on that hook. And when you cast that out into the water, that bait's going to start to dissolve and it's going to start to break off of that hook, and it's creating a chum trail, bringing the catfish back into that hook. So when there can be just a tiny little bit of fiber bait left on that hook, and when the catfish finds it, he'll just suck it in and off he goes. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about when it comes to fiber bait or Secret 7, we get asked a lot is why isn't it on your hook? Why doesn't it stay on your hook? When I reel it back in, the bait's all gone. Well, just like I was explaining, this bait is designed to be cast out into the water, hits the water, and starts to create a chum trail. And that chum trail moves down the river with current, or it moves across the bottom of the lake with wind waves. So what happens is, since this is a cheese-based product, it goes down and it lands on the bottom. Some of it is going to break off when it's sinking, which it's designed to do. And then as it sets on the bottom, especially in hot weather, it starts getting dissolved. The warmer water starts to dissolve the cheese and starts creating that chum trail. So there's always enough bait left on your treble hook once the catfish comes up and finds it. Now, if he hits it, he might knock some of that bait off. But this is the secret right here. When that bait has been setting on the bottom for 15 or 20 minutes, what you want to do is when you reel that back in, a lot of times you are reeling a soft cheese-based product back to your rod. A lot of guys reel it back up the current, or they reel it back into the dock or the bank really fast, and that breaks the rest of the product off. That's why Secret 7 and Sudden Impact and good baits are designed to dissolve in the water and be reloaded once you reel them back in. I want you to remember that the next time you go out and you reel this bait back in and there's not much left on the hook or on your dip tube, it's because that bait did its job, it dissolved in the water, and when you reeled it back, what was left on it dissolved on the way back in. I'm Jeff Williams with Team Catfish. Thanks for watching our videos.